We appreciate you, Rap Sheet. We'll talk to you throughout the show right here from London on Good Morning Football. Got a receiver sitting right next to me, so let's throw it to you. I've heard you on the show talk about what a special sort of speedster this is. Not everybody can catch 73-yard touchdowns like we saw Will do last night. So what does this offense do now?
Well, they're going to have to adjust next guy up, but the importance of Will Fuller, it has to be said. When you have a wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins who can pretty much do everything in between the hashes, he can go outside, inside, he can run every route, and we know he's dynamic with the ball when the ball is in the air. But when you have a guy like Will Fuller that can stretch the field, take the top off of every coverage, it just opens up things. We were watching the highlights, and he said, you find your number one receiver wide open because you have guys like Will Fuller screaming across the field. It's unfortunate because just as we saw these guys catch a rhythm, seems like they were getting their flow and they're at the party. The record skips. And now everybody's looking at the DJ like, what's the next song? So the next song is going to have to be this team rallying together and saying, we can do this. Because it's unfortunate when a player like this goes down, everybody has to take a step back. But if one person steps up, they'll be just fine.
Is Kiki QT that guy? Can you see him filling that role opposite DeAndre Hopkins? Because it's going to have to be him.
Well, Will Fuller is Olympic speed fast, so you can't replace that type of speed. That's one thing you can't coach. They're just going to have to be more creative. And what we saw last night with that offense, the handoffs, the motions, the fakes, the different formations, we'll see more of that because of a guy like Will Fuller being out.
What were you most impressed by last night?
I would say DeAndre Hopkins. Yesterday I said he's the best wide receiver in the game. He's the most explosive wide receiver in the game. And when it comes to that 50-50 ball, going up and getting it, them big old mitts, he's the most dominant guy on the field. And right now he's making a statement to the league, the entire league. There's no more, you know what, is DeAndre in the conversation with Antonio Brown?
That's true.
I think the new question is Antonio Brown in the conversation with DeAndre Hopkins?
We had him on the show, right? And I asked him, I said, what do you go through in your head when they don't even mention you in that conversation? He said, I don't think any wide receiver in the National Football League could do what I've done with the quarterbacks that I've played with. A lot of different guys throwing him the ball. I'm going to look at the run game. Yesterday I said it was a low-key revenge game for Lamar Miller. Grew up a Miami Dolphin, going up, of course, against his old team that he started his career with. So I loved the fact that he got it going and had another breakout game. That's 200-plus yard games he had to put together. The other thing that was really impressive was the fact that Deshaun Watson was sacked 26 times going into last night's action, more than any other quarterback in the National Football League, and they did not get to him once. Not one sack for Deshaun Watson. That's what I want to see.
I want to see that too, because I love how Houston has it going. I have a little game we're going to play, so let me go last. Peter, first, why don't you go? I'll bring it home with the game. What do you got? You know,
it's interesting. Deshaun Watson had a crazy 5 days. Guys, he took a 13-hour bus ride to Jacksonville, won a game on the road, took a 13-hour ride back.
Why? Why, though?
Because of a lung issue where he couldn't have air pressure. And then last night, maybe has his best game as a pro on national TV in front of the entire audience of viewers. 5 touchdown passes. Kay, you mentioned it. He's on pace to break Marino's record over the next couple of games for the first 20 games of a career. But to me, I look at it as the Texans as a whole, because I came on this show 2 days ago and I said, you know, they've beaten some teams. The Cowboys, a mediocre team. Sure. They've beaten a Jaguars team that's sputtering. Go beat a team on national TV and stomp on them, right? Like, beat them big.
You said that.
And they won by 19 points last night on national TV, and DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson were the absolute stars. The Chiefs and Patriots, they're sitting right there and they're looking at home field, little bye action in the playoffs. Like, okay, we're good. We've got what we got. We're the 1 and 2 seeds. Oh, no. The Texans are coming. They've now won 5 straight games. You can argue the Texans are the hottest team in the AFC.
Right.
Patriots, Chiefs be damned.
I just remember a couple years ago that Texans-Patriots playoff game where the Texans D came to play in Foxborough, and Brock Osweiler kind of threw him out. Maybe they'll get a rematch. But we are in London. We've been having so much. Let's have a little bit of fun. Okay. Let's bring up the DeAndre Hopkins catch again, which we all love. And Twitter blew up last night, and everyone was freaking out. Was it the greatest catch of all time? Let's go back to it as you see the rope from Watson. He's going to reach back with his left hand, his off hand. He's going to put it between his legs. Peter said Jason Richardson. I see Isaiah Ryder, or is it J.R. Ryder?
Easy Ryder.
Or is it Kobe?
It might be. Now, afterwards, he said, it's still a catch. It wasn't a penalty. I'm calling it a catch of mine. Don't forget it. Because my point on this, since he was sort of nullified by offensive pass interference, I don't want this catch to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Our friends at NFL Films everywhere, don't forget this at the end. Best plays of the year, best plays of the decade. However, was it the best catch of the decade? Let's go to another international star who I know they love here in the United Kingdom. What about this catch? 2014. We remember. This turned Odell Beckham Jr. into OBJ. Al Michaels said it was the play of the year. Chris Collinsworth said it was the greatest catch he'd ever seen. They took Odell's jersey and brought it to Canton, Ohio. They put it in the Hall of Fame on display for that catch.
Good job, Mr. Baker.
Great job by David Baker. He probably didn't like gloves. So I will go to my friends here at the table.
Wow. Oh, no.
Who you got? Who made the better catch? Burleson, you look vexed and perplexed. Get in there, dog. Come on.
me first.
Because you're the receiver.
Confusion right now.
Who you got?
Listen, if I remember this catch that Odell had, they lost that game.
Okay.
So for what it's worth, some would say that catch didn't count.
Context.
Now, we all have different styles. What's yours?
DeAndre Hopkins. The frustrating thing about me is that wasn't an OPI. That was 100% defensive pass interference.
He got called for offensive pass interference.
Reach around and find the ball. There is nowhere in that play where he extends his hands, pushes off, or even gives a chicken wing. So you just took one of the best catches I've ever seen off of the table. But I'm going to have to go with the play that counted because...
You going with Odell's catch is better?
With Odell's catch.
Okay.
DeAndre, I'm sorry. Like, out of receivers, of course, we're going to count that. But I can't count it because they didn't count it. But it's ridiculous because he didn't push off.
All right. Nate's very in his head about this. Peter, Kay?
I'm going with Odell's. It was such a cultural moment.
It was a game changer.
It was a game changer. It was a Sunday night with Al Michaels and Collinsworth, and the next morning, everyone was talking about it. I love DeAndre Hopkins' catch. It's one of the all-time greatest. Odell Beckham's might be the greatest.
Adams?
Great catch. Not the best receiver, but the best catch.
The best catch goes to Odell. I'm not the context guy. The context be damned. I want pure artistry. I want kids jumping into a swimming pool trying to impersonate it. Left hand under the leg is better. And shout out to Antonio Cromartie, who once did it off of Peyton Manning, too. I think that one was better. I'm with Nuke the Bomb in this one.
Can we do a poll on Twitter for this?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's get a poll going. Ziplo back there in the control room. Let's tweet that out. The better catch between Odell or DeAndre Hopkins last night to kick off Week 8. So right now, we are in London, as you said. Let's talk about everything going on here on Sunday. It is time for an NFL London game update presented by On Location Experiences. And who better to give us an update on Sunday's action between the Eagles and the Jags than our very own NFL Network reporter, host of NFL 360, good friend of the show, Melissa Stark. Hey, Melissa.
Hi, Kay. Well, as you know, I've been here more than a week at this point covering the Titans and the Chargers last week. And really, I mean, just spectacular weather. You know, you guys have been here. Mid-60s, sunny. Today was the first day that rained. It drizzled in the morning. It's cleared now, and the sun's kind of out, but it is cold. I pulled out the gloves. It's windy. The Jaguars are on their way over here on the buses as we speak, about to arrive at Alliance Park, which is a rugby stadium in a suburb of London. And they know London better than any other team, and they're hoping that works in their favor because they come in reeling, having lost 3 straight. Locker room issues documented after last week's loss. And, of course, their starting quarterback, Blake Bortles, was benched in the 3rd quarter last week. He will start this week. And he said, you know what? I know that I'm the scapegoat of this team, but he really tries to tune it all out. He deleted his Twitter account. He doesn't go on social media. He said his mom sends him articles every once in a while, both positive and negative. He said, please stop. I don't want to hear any of it. But the good news is, for whatever reason, Bortles has been dominant here in London. He has, over the last 3 games here, all wins, by the way, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. And here's a stat for you. Bortles has more starts, more wins, more passing touchdowns at Wembley than any other quarterback in the NFL. Okay, so it could be just what the doctor ordered.
He's the only guy who loves London more than I do, Melissa. That's very fair. He's undefeated across the pond right here. We appreciate you, Melissa. I know the Eagles are arriving.